And hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's check-in. That's right. I am 33 hours into this week's fast. We're heading, as you know, to 72 hours. Hey, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E, if you're new to me. That's E stands for endocrinology. Here, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. I am, like I said, 33 hours into this week's fast, and let me tell you, this is one of the most mentally demanding checkpoints in the fast. This is the moment where a lot of people start to ask the question of themselves, should I keep going? Is it really worth it? Why am I feeling so off? But here's the truth. Here's the truth. You are not failing. You're shifting. This is where the transformation starts and takes hold, not just in your metabolism, but in your mindset. And that's what we're talking about tonight. How do we keep going? You're almost there. You're almost there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. You're almost there. And we're talking about how fasting plays in and ties into mindset mastery, which is what we introduced over the course of the last couple of days. Hey, go ahead and put a new in the comments if you are new to me. We'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music, and let you know that we are happy that you are here. Go ahead and put a Q in front of the question if you have questions as you drop them into the comments. I see some of our community members are starting to pop in so far, and we will say hello to them in just a minute. As you know how we do, I've got my monitors that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. I've got my Dexcom clarity report right below, and of course I've got my Keto Mojo and my Contour right next to me. And I want to make sure that you understand that we are in a movement. We are in the process of walking through our Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and as part of that, I have been doing in the mornings, we've been doing our strength, strategy, and mindset series. If you've not joined us yet, you want to make sure that you get over there and you do join us. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up here so you can see some of the things that we've been doing. Here I am doing some press and curls. We've got our workbench that we work out there. We do the squats, we do the presses, we do cross body leg extensions, all kinds of things that we're doing in order to improve our metabolism. This is part of our MOVE campaign. Remember, that's our metabolic optimization via exercise. And so two components that we have right now, we've got the 100-day walk to consistency and health that we did. And then, of course, we've got our strength, strategy, and mindset. So if you've not been with us yet, go ahead and do it. It's not too late. It's not too late. You can hop in and become a part of that process. Because as we're talking about all the different components, we want to make sure that each of the components are having some time in our lives where we are doing the things we need to do to continue to be healthy and continue to improve our metabolism. All right, so that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Let's go ahead and let's hop over and take a look at blood sugars, because we're going to see what's going on, what's been going on there, and then we'll look at my actual reports. Let me get some of these things off my screen. We'll look at our actual report so you can see what's been going on with me over the course of the last several days. And we've not been fasting since, I guess it's been what now, about 5 days. So if you think you know what my ketones are going to be at this point, go ahead and pop that in the chat in the comments as well. So here's what my blood sugars are based on my Freestyle Libre. That's the Freestyle Libre, and you see I'm looking at this number right here, right about there, right there, right? And so that's my blood sugar. It's 74 right now, and down about here, so that is what my graph has been showing. Let me pull this up a little bit. There we go. That's what my graph has been showing for most of today. You'll see that it's been hovering right at about 100, right at or below 100. And for most of the day, actually, it's been below 100. It dipped below 70, which is the red dashed line at the bottom right here. I think just on a couple of occasions, but it, for the most part, has been staying right above 70. And right now we are 74. Okay, 74. Let's take a look and see what my Dexcom is showing, and the Dexcom is showing 101 right now. If I take my finger and put it on the Dexcom, one of the reasons I like it is that we can actually see what the numbers have been over the last 24 hours. And so that was about 9 p.m. last night, which would have put me at 8 hours. 8 hours? Yes, that sounds about right. 8 hours of fasting. And so we were at 110, 120s, dropped below 90, or dropped to about 90 a couple of occasions, and then down into 80. Look at that, 80, 80, 80, 80. And as we came into the morning, 98, 98, and then 95. And then right about here is what I call the toothpaste. So 101, 114. And look at that, right at 6 o'clock, right about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, when I brush my teeth, you see that spikes up. So I've asked you if you guys know of a toothpaste that I could try that prevents that. Love to try it. Anyway, so as a result of that, look at that, up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we were at 130s, and then we started coming back down, 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 to where we are right now. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move over and take a look at what my monitors are showing. And for this one, let me change a little bit. So we're going to grab our container, and in here I'm going to get a strip for the contour meter. Let's grab that out. And then put that back in here. So that's my contour, and then I need a blue and a brown, one for ketones. So brown is blood sugar, this is a Keto Mojo, and the blue is for ketones, and then I'll need a couple of these lancets. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. So first I'm going to put this in, that's the contour. Go ahead and open up the Keto Mojo test strip. Get that one in. Right there, and I'm going to go ahead and open this one as well. So it'll be on standby, because I always have trouble getting it out without letting that blood dry. And then, of course, here are my lancets. Open one of these so you can see, and I grab a finger, and if you can probably see on this finger, you see those dark spots. That's where I usually check my blood sugar. But I started using this one, so that one you can probably see it very much right there. Okay? So I started using this one, so I'm just gonna up in there and ow, ow, ow. Okay, hopefully that gives me a good drop. I'd better. All right, there we go. So get the Keto Mojo started. Now that's blood sugar. Get the contour going. And while that happens, I'll hop back over here. So we've got the 79 for the Keto Mojo, 80 for the contour, and then of course right there you'll see the Dexcom says 101. Let's go ahead and get a drop of blood. Let's make sure that doesn't dry. Get this out for the Keto Mojo, and if you've not dropped in yet, go ahead and drop in. What do you think my ketones are going to be? All right, 33 hours into the fast. Make sure we get a good, okay, we did get a good drop of blood. 33 hours into this week's fast. What do you think that's going to be? All right, and drum roll, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, and it is 0.6. 0.6. So I think I saw someone guessed out there who was close. They were close, okay. All right, and so let's do a quick check-in. And whenever I do a check-in, whenever we're doing anything really to improve, right? We want to improve. We always want to make sure that we're looking to see how we are doing, how our body's responding. And the three areas that I tend to look at: physical, mental, and emotional. And these are really three of the areas, part of our health, our domains of health. If you remember when we did that series, these are some of the top domains of health. And this is typically where people will have challenges as they move through anything that they're doing in terms of changing, improving mindset, their health, right? Their relationships, physically, mentally, and emotionally are three of the places where that can cause an issue. And so physically right now, I have to say I have a little bit of a headache actually. Earlier today, as I told you, my blood sugars dropped right below 60. I was in the office. I hadn't been drinking for the morning. And so this was maybe about, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock. And it just came out of nowhere. And I started drinking more because I was aware of the fact that I hadn't been. And so it improved, but I just, and it's not a bad headache, but you know how you know that it's not just normal. And so that's what I'm feeling right now. Other than that, in terms of energy, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I got good rest last night. Woke up this morning early because I needed to do we needed to do the episode for our show this morning, Strength, Strategy, and Mindset. So I woke up early, got that done, and actually felt very energetic as I got into the day. In fact, I think waking up, well, because I did a good job of resting, right? So last night we didn't have a show. I didn't do any recording. I didn't do anything in this space. I went to bed, and because I got good rest, I was able to wake up this morning and do well. So I'm not feeling as though I'm walking through mud or quicksand or some of those things that people say. I didn't do a good job of resting, so of hydrating. So that I think I felt, and that's what I'm feeling right now, I believe. But I'm not feeling as though my heart's racing, skipping a beat. I'm not feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Just a twinge of a headache, which actually improved over the course of the day as I started hydrating more. So we want to make sure that you are hydrating. Mentally, actually, I'm feeling pretty clear. There were a lot of things today that I had to process and get through, in addition to seeing patients. I've got some other projects that we're working on, and so during lunch today, I had a short meeting for about 15 minutes to get some things done on the computer. Someone logged in, they did some things on our system. This is part of our reporting to Medicare. So I had that done, and then here's the thing: I finished that meeting, and at the computer, everybody else had gone to lunch. And I just sat there and said, I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute. So 15 minutes later, after that, I woke up. I was like, oh, my goodness. And I had to catch up with some other things. But mentally feeling pretty clear. Not feeling foggy or as though I'm grasping for words or grasping for any of the other, my thought process is pretty linear. And then, of course, emotionally, and this has been an exciting week. I came into this week, I did a shout out, if you're in our community, I did a shout out on Sunday, really talking about some of the exciting things that are happening this week, some projects that I've got going, the fact that we're here, we're walking through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. I'm excited about that and the benefits that the community is seeing and the community is getting, and it's just exciting to get into this week. So emotionally, I am pumped. There are some things going on this weekend, some things that are happening as we move into June. June is an exciting time for my family. We've got birthday, anniversary, have some travel that we're going to be doing as we get into the summer. One of the things I realized is, summer is not a summer unless you have kids. So when kids are out of the house, then summer really is just another time, right? so I told my wife, I told my son, we got to enjoy this while he's still at home because we get a summer. So we talk about, the summertime, we're going to do such and such. But yeah, emotionally feeling pretty pumped and pretty excited about what we're going to be doing as we move into the next several weeks. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members because I see you out there. Let's hop over and do that right now. And let's see, I see Jiyeon is out there. She says, hi, doctor, and hi, LLG. And for those of you who are not, who are new to the community, that's Limitless Living Health, Limitless Living Gang, sorry. So I see Jiyeon out there, and then Cornelia. She says, hi, doctor, hi, Jiyeon, hi, LLG. And then Jiyeon, hi to Cornelia. Pamela's there. Hi, Dr. Jiyeon and Cornelia. And Jiyeon says she thought it was going to be zero point 0.6. And Jiyeon, you were right on the money. Get a hand clap for that one. And Cornelia saying hi to Pam. Jiyeon saying hi to Pam. And Cornelia guessed 0.7, so you were pretty close. Pretty close. And then Cornelia is smiling, and Jiyeon, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, yeah. So just always exciting when the community is around. And once again, if you have not if you've not part of our community, join. There's a button down there somewhere that says join. Hit that button. You get to be a part of the community. We get to support each other. And I see one of our another community member just popped in. Hello, hey Steve, how are you doing, man? Glad that you're here. And of Cornelia saying hello to Steve. That is a huge part, and we'll talk more about our Triple E Formula for Success as we get closer to the end of the show. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into our conversation and our discussion for this evening as we are in our 33-hour fast, and we're pairing that with our Limitless Living Health Action Plan. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's go ahead and let's shift into the teaching for today, because this isn't just a fast. It is a moment of formation, right? This is a part of the fast where people either push through or they pull back. And what I want to talk about is to show you exactly what's happening in your body, what's happening in your brain, and in your belief system at 33 hours, right? So that's what we want to do. We're going to talk about what's going on. How do we assess what's happening in our bodies? And first, we want to talk about why do people quit here? Why do people quit at this space? And that's a great place to start by saying, inside this 33 hours in your body, what's going on right now? And what could predispose people at this point to say, okay, I'm not going to do it. And the first thing is that your liver glycogen is depleting. So your body is no longer using the quick fuel. It's beginning to shift into deeper fat burning. Right, so quick fuel. And when I talk about quick fuel, I think about, those movies, right? These guys and gals, they're drag racing. And they're racing down the road, and one goes forward, the other come back, goes right, and they're kind of neck and neck and neck and neck. And somebody in one of the cars reaches over, and there's always that switch, right, that's in the car, and they hit the switch, and the car goes, right, and it just zooms, and of course they win. And I think about the glycogen and the sugar that's in our body, kind of like the stuff that's in that switch. It's quick. It's powerful, it gives a burst of energy, but then it's gone. And so what happens as the body is transitioning from burning glycogen, or that rapid, that fast, that quick source of energy, is that it's starting now to burn normal, steady, efficient fuel, but that dip that we sometimes feel as or that thing we sometimes feel as a dip in energy happens because the glycogen is going away. The glycogen is being depleted, and there's not that ready source. It's not almost, but also like when somebody uses, those energy drinks. Those energy drinks, the things that we do when we say, hey, I can't get through the day. I can't move through the day without having this. same thing is going on. So the body is transitioning between sources of energy, and sometimes we feel that. And that dip in energy sometimes makes us think that, oh man, I got to do something different. I can't continue with this because obviously something is wrong. But there's nothing wrong, it's just the body is transitioning. The other thing is that ketones are increasing, but they haven't quite reached the peak as yet. So your energy may be dipping, and you're getting rid of, you're using up all the glycogen, and the ketones are coming out, but they're not in full force. Like you see, when we did our check-in, my ketones were 0.6, right? So just into the ketosis range, right? 0.5 or 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and above 0.5 or 1.5 is considered therapeutic. So you're just now in that space, and your body is still trying to balance the change from the glycogen to ketones. The ketones are there, and they're doing a job, but we don't have a full supply of ketones quite yet. And so this may cause you to feel that energy levels are dipping. The other thing, our hunger hormones, right, can initially spike in waves, particularly based on what you ate coming into the fast. So when you come into the fast, your body has to process all the stuff that you ate. And so sometimes it may take a little longer to get into the full ketosis because it has to process all the carbs and sugars that you've put in prior to getting to the fast. So ghrelin, the hunger hormone, may spike up. And that surge you're feeling it's real. Right? So don't let anybody tell you, oh, you're not hungry. Yeah, that hormone that comes out, it is powerful. It is so powerful that we have to make or put things in place so that we minimize the surge. Because when that surge of hormone comes in, that ghrelin, it is hard to counteract that. But here's the kicker, right? Most people mistake the dip that they feel as a problem, when in fact it is progress. I want you to hear that. Most people, when they see that dip, they think, okay, there's something wrong, something that's going on. But it's not the fact that something's going on. It is the fact that your body actually is in the space. It's in the process of taking you where you want to go anyway. It's taking you in that direction. But sometimes we feel that as a hump, and people say, oh, I got to stop. So what makes this moment challenging isn't just biology. It's also mental friction. Mm-hmm. You're used to eating by the clock. So people get up and they go, and you see that, you're like, oh man, it's time to go. In fact, that happens to me so I start my fast after our team meeting at work. All right, so if you've been following us with our pop-up live chickens, that's when I'm starting my fast. And I deliberately start the fast after that, because if I go to the meeting when everybody is around me eating and food is coming in, then the temptation is to eat. Not because my body wants it, but because my mind is telling me, hey, there's something going on here, right? So there's this thing that's going on. We're eating by the clock. Or your brain is chasing that dopamine hit that it usually gets from the food. So something is happening. So it may not be that, hey, it's the routine, everybody's going to eat lunch, but you're going through the day and you're used to grabbing something, used to grabbing a snack, used to eating food, and the brain associates that, or you get a dopamine hit from, I shouldn't say associate, because you actually get a dopamine hit from the food. And because you are fasting, you're 33 hours now in, you're 24 hours now in, you're 36 hours now, you're not getting that dopamine burst from the food. And because we're used to that, it's almost like, I don't want to quite call it an addiction, but it's almost like a withdrawal, right? So we're expecting it, we want it, we are used to it, and when we don't get it, we're like, oh, there's something wrong there. And then old habits whisper, just break the fast. You've done enough. You're here. You're 33 hours in. What more do they want? How long are you going to starve yourself? Is this still beneficial? Can't I just do 33 hours and be done? Right? So the brain, the mind starts to talk to us. But this is your moment. This is your moment to push through the noise. This is where mental mastery comes in, right? Which is that second component, or that component that we've been talking about this week. Mental mastery, how to ride the waves. How do we ride the waves? So mental mastery isn't about being stoic or ignoring hunger. Right? So people think that mental mastery means that you're sitting on a rock somewhere and you are not being affected by anything. You are immune. Everything is numb. That's not what mental mastery is. Yeah? It's about naming what's happening. It's about seeing it. It's about being present and choosing your response. I want you to get that. When I'm in the office, when people first come to see me, there's a conversation that I have with most of them. And sometimes they're not ready for this conversation. So we do a different conversation. But for the most part, this is the conversation. And I ask everyone who comes to my office, when I walk into the room, I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Dr. Woode. Welcome to our practice. I think you've met some of our other team members already. I introduce the other people that's in the room if they haven't met them. And I said, I've heard a little bit about your story because my team member, they've interviewed, they've triaged them. I'm now coming in. I've heard a little bit about your story, but why don't you tell me in your own words, what brings you to see me today and what can I help you with? Now I'll tell you, when I ask that question, a lot of times people aren't sure. Right? Because their doctor sent them, their wife or husband made them come, their kid made them come, they were at the hospital, they had a heart attack, and so they sent them over. And so we kind of walk through and I hear their story, why they think they're here, and here's my push to them. Right? Because I want to know, what can I do for you? Why are you here? And they tell me all kinds of different things. But I tell them, this is what I can do for you. I can give you the power to make choices for yourself that sets you up for success when it comes to your health, when it comes to your diabetes. Because my job, I can't go home with you. When you leave the door, when you walk out the door, when you walk out of my office, I'm here. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive to my house. I'm going to sit with my family. I'm going to eat my meal. And where are you? You're at your house with your family eating your meal. And so unless there is a brain connection, unless we have a mind meld and I am able to influence you over there, then the choices that you're making at your house are your choices. And so my job really is to inform you, to give you so much information, to make you so comfortable with your choices that you now understand how your body works and the choices that you're making at your house, not with me looking over your shoulder, at your house, in your space, at the point of interaction with your food and with all of the emotions, that you're making choices that help you be successful. So mental mastery is not about ignoring. It's not about white knuckling it. It's about being able to be in your space and naming what's happening and making the choice to respond in a way that aligns with what you say your rhythm is. Remember, we talk about rhythm, alignment, and structure. The rhythm is the course of your life. What am I about? What do I want to do? What is my goal? What is my tenure? The alignment is, are the things I'm doing, the choices I'm making, the decisions I'm making, the consistency, am I being consistent enough that the things I'm doing are going in the direction of where I say I want to be? And here's something I tell my patients all the time. Cravings are conversation. The cravings are conversations. They're your body. They're your body. It's not yelling. It's not trying to force you. It's asking you some questions. It's telling you to ask yourself some things. What am I actually craving right now? Because it's not the food. You're craving something that the food gives you. It's like people who come to see me, and we have come. I mean, this is the richness of what I do. And I tell people, when I walk through the door, I get excited to talk to people, talk to patients, hear their story. You know why? Because my let me see how to say this. I'm always excited when people make a connection. Make a connection that gives them power. Because many times people walk into the office thinking that the power is on my side of the desk, on my side of the table, on the chair that I'm sitting in. But I want to change that and have the power sit in you. So people will tell me stories about, why they are so tied to food. Because when they were a kid, mom used to tell them, you're going to get fat if you eat too much. Or controlling their food. Or on the other side, saying, when you sit at the table, you got to eat all your food. You got to empty your plate. Or when dad traveled, every time he came back, he brought me a chocolate. And I just associate that chocolate with him coming home. And now that he's gone, I buy the chocolate. Right? So there are all these connections that we're making. So what am I actually craving right now? That's what the body's saying. Am I hungry, or am I just looking for relief? Oh man, I had that conversation with that person, or I had this meeting, or I've got this project that I'm working on, and I am so tense, I'm so stressed that I'm using food. Right? We talked about physical hunger and psychological hunger, right? That psychological hunger is kicking in. So this is the body saying to you, when you get that craving, it is not yelling. It's not trying to force you to eat the food. It's telling you, ask the question. What can I give my body that doesn't involve food? All those are questions. And sometimes the answer is simple: a glass of water, a walk around the block, a moment of stillness. In the office today, we did had a patient who came in, and I did a grounding exercise with her. If you've not done that, go find one of our strength, strategy, and mindset episodes. Right at the end of the show, at the end of the episode, we do a grounding exercise that you can do at any time. You can be in a conversation with someone that is being stressful to you, and they don't have to know that you're doing it. But it helps to relieve the stress, and it gives you that COPE, clarify, observe, pause, and execute. It gives you that PE part. What else can I do other than food in this situation? So that's what fasting does. Because fasting is not just about what you remove, it's about what you discover. So we're all talking about, well, I can't eat that now. I can't eat, I'm not, right? So we're all talking about what we take away. But what are you giving? What are you creating? What are you observing? What are you learning? And here's what mental mastery sounds like. I'm not eating, but I'm still nourishing myself. Notice the switch. Notice the switch in the words. I don't run from discomfort, I learn from it, and I learn in it. I talk about myself a lot because the things that I've gone through in my life, the struggles that I've had, are instrumental in other people understanding. And I'll tell you, for a long time, I could not. There was the shame, there was the doubt, there was the almost hopelessness. So I didn't talk about this. But my story, my journey, as flawed as it is, as disrupted as it is, as imperfect as it is the exact answer to somebody else's story or somebody else's question. And I say that to you right now, that your journey, as flawed, as imperfect, as bungled as it was or is exactly the answer to somebody else's question that they need. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. But what you want to do, we're not just removing stuff. So mental mastery, once again, is not about white knuckling and ignoring. It's about learning. I don't run from discomfort now. I learn from it. This is not punishment. This is alignment. Are the things I'm doing aligned with who I say I want to be and the things I want, places I want to go? Rhythm, alignment, and structure. People don't have difficulty succeeding, not because they don't have drive, not because they don't have vision, not because they don't have know-how. They don't have success because they don't have structure. So rhythm, structure, and the mind. Rhythm, structure, and the mind. So let's connect back to the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. You prepared in advance. That's structure. You're staying consistent. That's rhythm. And now you're learning to master the mental response. This is who you are. This is who I am. This is who I've created. This is who I've grown into. Yeah? You become resilient. This moment may feel hard, but it's not a setback. It's a setup for becoming someone new. You are in the process of learning. You're growing. Your body's changing. Your hormones are changing. I've had people in our community talk about the fact that the more they fasted, the more the body becomes used to fasting, and they began seeing amazing results in their blood sugars, in their weight, in how they feel, in their thought process, in their relationships. So we talk a lot about the metabolic part of fasting, and that's important. We've talked about the fact that the blood sugars get better. We talked about the fact that the weight goes down. We talk about the fact that my A1C is improved and my blood pressure is better and we talk about all those metabolic things. But can you imagine what's going on in your body as you are now having to listen to yourself and trust your body, and those hormones now are becoming regulated? Because you no longer have the safety net of the food. So it feels hard, but it's a setup for you to get better. And it is an indication that your body's changing. So as you're going through this process, try some of these reflections. Who am I becoming because I chose not to quit? Who am I becoming because I chose to fast? Or what about this one? What is the fast revealing about my thoughts, my patterns, and my priorities? What am I learning in this fast? 33 hours in, you haven't eaten. 24 hours in, you haven't eaten. 36 hours in, you have not eaten. What am I learning? What is it revealing about me? About my thought process, the patterns that I have. Here, you want a quick mental rep? So I'm working out right now, yay. So strength, strategy, and mindset. So we're working out every morning. And some days I actually work out twice because I go out with my son, and then I come back and I record the episode for the day. So I'm doing that several times. And so this idea of reps, right? One of the weeks, our focus was strength through reps. Not strength through changing, not strength through doing a lot of different things, but strength through reps, just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, which is what we say. If you do something consistently over and over, then you get results. So you want some quick reps? I want you to say this sequence out loud. This is temporary. This is transformation. I'm choosing to do this. I am closer than I feel. This is temporary. This is transformation. I'm choosing to do this. I'm closer than I feel. You're riding the waves. And every wave you ride builds the mental muscle. You get that? You get that connection? Build the mental muscle for your next breakthrough. It's because the mental mastery, it is a muscle. It has to be exercised. Just like when I'm out there lifting those dumbbells and I'm lifting those kettlebells and I'm doing the squats, I am building muscles. Every single rep counts. And every time I do it, every time I say it, every time I'm going through it, it's building more and more and more and more muscle. So as you see, this stage of the fast isn't just biological. It's transformational. It's the moment where the mental mastery steps to the front. You're not just resisting cravings. You're actually building capacity. You're anchoring to rhythm. You're living out structure. And most importantly, you're proving to yourself. You are building that inner coach. You're proving that you can keep going. Even when comfort tries to call you back. When I'm out and I'm lifting, right? So we've been doing, 3 sets of 8 or 4 sets of 8, or, we went up on the weights. And there's a point, and I'll tell you, particularly the ones when I'm doing those lateral raises, those are killer. So I'm doing those lateral raises, and you've done 2 sets of 8, 2 sets of whatever number, and you get to the last few of that last set, and the brain says, we've done enough. Let's stop right here. And there's that tension, there's that burning that comes. And even when there's discomfort, we can do it. We can be in discomfort. We can feel the burning and still keep going. And that's the most important part. You are proving every time you push through, every time you fast, every time you get through this space, every time you overcome this, every time you say, okay, yeah, I'm going to keep going. You're proving to yourself that you can keep going. And that I can sit in discomfort and I can still be in a space where I am slightly off balance, but I can still succeed. And that's the power of pairing fasting with mental mastery. We'll continue talking more about the mind and mental mastery and all the things that we do as we pair it with fasting, as we move throughout the week, as we move throughout the episodes. We will come back and we'll talk more as we continue the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, because it is the blueprint for how we right our metabolism. And we'll continue talking about that. You want to make sure that you're pairing this and that you understand that you're closer, much closer than you think or that it may appear, and you can do this. You can fast. You can make it through, and you make it through partially by your mental mastery. Oh man, this is one of and yeah, you guys are gonna say you say that all the time, Dr. Wood, but this really is one of my favorite conversations because everything begins in the mind. As I said earlier this week, as we moved into this pillar, right? I mean, we've done the pillars now. We've done the tier one. I was going to say something else. But we've done tier one, walking, fasting. We've done tier two, strength training and balance bites. We're in tier three, and we've done rest and restoration, and now mental mastery. And mental mastery is really the one that pulls it all together, right? So mental mastery pulls everything together. It is your understanding of how you think. Because everything begins there. The lens through which you see the world and the interpretation and meaning that you give to things that are happening to you will directly influence your ability to walk through the blueprint. And so being able to master this, not just as I'm going to, and you heard me say white knuckle. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. That does not work. Right? That does not work. That's like, I'm not gonna eat the donut. 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 What we're doing is we're building up a belief that process right there, that we're building up a belief that that's the answer. That's not the answer. The answer is in you understanding what it is that's pushing your button so much that you are now fighting a donut. Did you hear what I said? That you're fighting the donut. What is it that has that power over you? Mine. Well, a lot of you know. Here's the thing. I keep saying mine is, but I have a lot. I've got Cadbury chocolate. I've got Ben and Jerry's ice cream. And I'm talking about sweets. Like one of my very first jobs, by the way, was working at a donut factory, at a donut store in New York. It was a donut / ice cream store. So Baskin Robbins. Right. So ice cream donuts, and the whole thing. So, because Dunkin' was part of it, if you guys remember. So why is this? All right. So that was one of my first jobs. And I worked at what was called the Dime Savings Bank in downtown Brooklyn. And right next door to Dime Savings Bank was this place called Junior. I shouldn't say was. It is there. Junior's Cheesecake Factory. Junior's Cheesecake. Not the Cheesecake Factory, but Junior's. And so we would hop over there and would get donuts. And then down the street from my house was this place called Lord's Bakery. And Lord's Bakery had like the most amazing donuts. And so coming home, we'd take the train to a place called the Junction. And the Junction was where several streets connected, right? So you got bus lines coming down there, train lines coming down there. A lot of taxi cabs are over there picking people up. It was almost kind of like the Grand Central Station without being a Grand Central Station. And so we'd get off there, and on the way home, right, you'd pass by Lord's Bakery. And I'd go into Lord's Bakery, and they'd have donuts, kind of glazed donuts and it had like a little section in the middle, and they would fill it with all other, it's not inside the donut, but it's on top of it, fill it with all kinds of toppings, like pineapple. And these were not like fresh pineapple. This was pineapple in sugar syrup. So pineapple and blueberries and strawberries and mango and all the different things. And even as I'm talking about it right now, you know what's coming back to my mind? Not the donut, but the feeling I had at the end of the day, coming home and grabbing a couple of those and walking on the way home, right? There's just the memory of being in New York, of hanging out with the family. And so mental mastery is not about white knuckling it. It's about making the connection to understand what is going on in my mind that's affecting my hormones and my body that are pushing me in that direction. And when I make that connection, I get to choose something different. And that's what the COPE model says. The COPE model says I clarify, I observe, I pause, and I execute. Remember, that's one of the tools in the mental mastery. And we've got to use those tools. We've got to use that tool as we're moving through fasting. As we're moving through fasting. Let's go ahead and let's say hello to some community members, because I do see some, I saw some comments out there. So let's go ahead and drop over. Let's see where we, so we go back to where Steve was. Hey, Steve. Oh, you guys are talking about food. Let's see. Where are we? So we said Steve. Jennifer said howdy all. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says garden is going strong. Grilled steaks tonight with grilled zucchini slices, grilled new potatoes, fresh dug, salad greens, and a fresh head of cauliflower. Jennifer, you just always make us hungry. And this stuff is all from her garden, y'all. Did you hear that? Did you see that? Gian says hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says local beef, everything else from my garden. Yeah. Wow, awesome. Pamela says, stop it, Jennifer, or I will be at your house. That's right. We're all taking a trip. Always room at the table for friends. Remember you said that. And Jennifer's smiling. Gian says, LLG, let us go to Jennifer's house. That's right. Jennifer's smiling. I'm hungry now. I'm 20 hours into the fast. Yep. 20 hours, and it's in that process, right? In those first 24, 36 hours. Steve says fried squash and beef tallow, shiitake mushrooms, beef tips, salad, macadamia nuts, creme brulee. Oh, I'm gonna highlight that, Steve. I'm coming back to that in a minute. Pamela says, all right, Steve, remember you are closer. Ooh, sounds yummy. Plan ahead after breaking a fast. Yes. Steve said, Pamela, I see the doctor. I was there recently. I do. Go back. Okay. Pamela says, don't. We can tell how excited you get. It helps me also. Awesome. So I highlighted Steve's comment about the fried squash and beef tallow, shiitake mushrooms, beef tips. And I highlighted that because last week, and just a quick shout out to Pam. So Pam sent me, or she told me about a recipe salad, and that's the salad that I ate last week to break the fast. So it was cucumber, tomatoes, mixed nuts. We won't talk about where we got it from. And then it was, I'm not going to call the name, but it was garlic. Was it garlic olive oil? But anyway, so I have the salad dressing. So that's what I had for my meal last week to break our fast. And it was delicious. Okay. So right now, I need you guys to help me make a decision. Okay, you guys ready? Here's the decision. So tomorrow, and I mentioned this on the pop-up live that I did yesterday or just today. So I'm in the fast, and so tomorrow evening I have a business dinner. And I couldn't do it another time. I mean, we scheduling because I'm fasting for 3 days, right? So basically, most of the time, if they want to have a meeting, I'm doing a fast. And so I haven't quite decided yet whether I'm going to this week break the fast. So we're meeting tomorrow. It would have been, let's see, what's 50? So 56 would be at 9 o'clock, and so 3 hours earlier. So it would be 53 hours, right? That I would be fasting, And so I'm going to this business meeting, and it's specifically to meet me, right? For us to have a conversation. So the people are coming specifically for that. And it's going to be an intimate conversation, just I think 3 or 4 of us. And so what I haven't decided yet is whether I'm going to, well, I know I'm going to the meeting, but am I going to, and it's at a restaurant, am I going to break my fast and eat dinner, or am I going to stick to the fast into the next day? Okay. So if you think I should break the fast, I want you to put a 1. If you think I should stick to the fast, I want you to put a 2. Right. 1 is breaking it. 2 is is sticking to it. Okay. So what do you think I should do? All right. Put it in the chat. And we're going to a good restaurant, by the way. Okay. So I'm not sure whether that should be factored into the breaking the fast, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So we're going to a nice restaurant. So 1 is break the fast, 2 stick to it. 1 is break, 2 stick to it. Okay, so go ahead and drop it. One break it, 2 stick to it. All right, put that in the comments, and we'll come and we'll talk about that. We'll come to talk about that in a minute. But everything we do, as I always say, is based on our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the blogs, with the podcast. The things that we do is with the intention of changing our mindset, changing our thought process, changing our thought patterns. Because just mental mastery is actually the perfect vehicle for this component of the Triple E formula for success, because mental mastery has to do with what we have done in terms of our thought process and where we are in that space. So when we have mental mastery, it means that we are continually learning, we're continually evolving. We are in the growth mindset as opposed to the fixed mindset. We're learning to be resilient as opposed to learning to be fractured. We're learning how to cope, how to process, how to think, how to actually I said think, and I have can I okay, I'm gonna do a quick thing here. Okay, so I have a book that a new friend of mine wrote, and it's called Rethinking Thinking. So shout out to you for this book that you wrote. It says a practical guide for solving real problems from the boardroom to the breakfast table. Because how we think is very important in the process of our lives. It doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. How you think directly affects what happens. Whether you are a CEO and you're sitting in front of a Fortune 5,000, I said 5,000, but you get it. Fortune, right? It doesn't matter. Or you're sitting at a table about to eat a cookie. All of that, how you think affects that. And just a quick plug for you, Dr. Booker. All right, it's called Rethinking Thinking. Rethinking Thinking. So very, very important and very good stuff, because this is what we're talking about. It's a Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and the empowerment comes with the tools that we're learning: the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, Balanced Bites, the COPE model, right? The HEAT model, Habits, Emotions, Access, and Taste, the Triple E formula for success. So when I talk to people, my thought process is in Triple E: educate, empower, encourage. That's the platform. That's how I do when I'm coming up with the shows. Okay, what is the education component? What's the empowerment component? What's the encouragement component? That's how I think when I'm talking to people, when I'm teaching. Educate, empower, encourage. The arm, though, that works, the arm that does the job, is the rhythm, alignment, and structure. So when I'm talking to someone in the office, when I'm coaching someone, I am talking in Triple E, but I'm looking at their lives. I'm saying, where's their rhythm? What are they about? Where's their alignment? Are the things they're doing aligned with who they say they are? And what's the structure? Do they have something in place that's going to help them get there? Rhythm, alignment, and structure. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. And the encouragement comes with the community that you're a part of. I love this, right? To see what people are doing, the successes that people are having in their lives. It is amazing. It's amazing because it is a indication is an indication of the changes that they're seeing in their lives, is an indication of the space that they find themselves in, is an indication that they are learning and they're growing and they're expanding and all of that. So I say to you, limitless living, which is the path that we're on, limitless living says that we are going to do everything we possibly can do to be successful. We're not allowing any obstacles. We're not allowing any challenges. We're not allowing any boundaries, any constraints to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best selves, our best health, and our best plans. Now, I want you to, and people say you like threes. I do like three, right? Triple E formula for success, rhythm, alignment, structure. I like that, right? But here's the thing: our best self, our best health, and our best plans. Why do I say those? Our best self has to do with the overall concept of limitless living. We cannot be living limitlessly without working on ourselves. And the best self that I have right now is the self that is right here. I'm always working to improve that self, but I'm showing up with the best guy I got. This is it. Can I be better in certain places? Yeah. But I am sufficient as I am. You are sufficient as you are. Are there places where you can smooth out or things that you can make better? Always. But my best self is what I got right now. And this is what I'm showing up with. I'm showing up with my best self. I'm showing up with my best health. What's happened in the past, the choices I made in the past that got me where I am, I can't change those. The current physical structure that I have, this is what I've got. The current list of medications I'm on, this is what it is. The current diagnosis that I have, this is what I have. So you're showing up with the best person you can be. You're showing up with your best health. And I'm showing up with my best plans. Now that's where the rubber meets the road. That means I have to have thought about it. I have to be processing it. I've got to look at what I'm doing so that I can bring that with me. It is what I've got. And all of those, my best self, my best health, and my best plans, what I'm doing always is how do I improve it and how do I get it better? How do I make myself a better person? So limitless living touches every area of our life. That's why we did the domains of health, so that you understand that you're not working in isolation. Everything that you do, when you make better relationships, it touches your food. When you make better connections, it touches your health, your physical, right? When you're better physically, it touches the spiritual. You can't be spiritual if you're in severe pain. You can't be spiritual if you can't breathe. I said breathe. That's right. I said it. Right? If I'm going to do something in a relationship and I'm tired, fatigued, I am feeling bad, I'm in pain, I can barely walk, I can barely breathe, my heart's racing, I'm sweating all the time, I feel terrible about what I look like. How do I expect to have a relationship in that space? So all of it is connected. And when you are living a limitless life, that means that you are trying to improve all of that. And your health, right? The Limitless Living Health Action Plan is the functional health arm of limitless living. And following that blueprint helps us with our metabolism and helps us minimize, reverse, get rid of, prevent those chronic metabolic diseases. But here's the thing, limitless living is based on the Triple E formula for success, or the platform is there. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. Part of the Triple E formula is that encouragement. That means there's community around you. You cannot grow. You cannot improve. You cannot get better without affecting your community around you. You've got to bring somebody along with you. There are people all around you that are suffering just like you used to. There are people who don't understand just like you didn't. There are people who are on all kinds of medications and having advanced complications just like we did. And we cannot improve without saying to somebody, there's a different way. So when you show up, tell your story here, but also share your story with your community so that they also improve. And if we do this one person at a time, right? What we're doing, that 1 billion people that I keep talking about that's on the planet that have pre-diabetes or diabetes, that 1 billion gets better. We have been pouring billions, trillions of dollars into healthcare, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And yet the numbers of people that are suffering from chronic metabolic diseases keep going up and up and higher and higher. We're doing something wrong. And you get to be a voice that says, it doesn't have to be like this. We can make choices. We can be different. Self-efficacy says that based on history, based on what you're seeing right now in your life, based on the benefits you're getting right now in your life, in your health, that you are now proving to yourself that based on your decisions, based on your actions, based on your consistency, that you can direct what goes on in your health. And that's the message that you now have to go tell other people, that you can make a choice, that they have the ability to make decisions and make choices for themselves. They don't have to rely on medications. They don't have to rely on somebody else telling them what to eat and what to do. They can make that decision for themselves. You guys got me talking. This is a whole nother show, right? Ooh, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm always excited when I'm here with you. And let's see what people are saying about tomorrow. Let's do that really quickly. Let's see. So I asked the question, if you think I should break the fast, then you put a 1. If you think I should stay in the fast, then you put a 2. All right, so let's see what we got. So Gion says, I want you to break the fast. So Gion says she wants me to break, and she put a 1. Pamela says 2. Jennifer says 3, your choice. Jennifer, that's not fair. That's not fair. Gion says, Pam. Steve says 2. So that's 2, 1 for breaking it. Pam says 2. Steve says 2. Cornelia says 2, so that's 3 for staying with it. And then Jennifer says, it's up to me. Gion says, break the fast. Gion says, I will change to 2. No, don't let them influence you, Gion. No, come on. Don't let them push you down that road. She said, if it's related, you are simply practicing what you teach. And Pamela says, teach. Awesome. All right, so I've got so you guys influence Gion, so she's changing her vote. I'm gonna see if I can get Jennifer to change hers to a 1. Well, we will let you guys know tomorrow what we do. Okay. All right. So once again, I'm always, like I said, excited to be here in this space with you. An amazing community that we have. The support, the encouragement, the advancement, and the benefits that I hear about as you guys come on is just fascinating to me. And as you guys tell, I get excited when I see you getting better. I get excited because For so long, I've struggled myself, and finally to be in a space where I can share the things I've learned and watch people get benefit, that's just beyond exciting for me. Later this week, we'll do our check-in. So we'll do our check-in tomorrow. We'll do our check-in on Friday as we walk through the complete fast, how to prepare for a fast, how to break a fast. Sorry, how to prepare for a fast, how to get through a fast, and how to break a fast. We'll be back on Saturday for Video from the Vault. Sunday morning, This Week in Review, and then we'll be right back here on Monday for Dwain Woode MD Live at 7 p.m. Central as we continue walking through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. You will see us out and about as we are trying to get this word out, this message out. We were in Birmingham last month. We'll be doing a Zoom here coming up here in another week or so. That's out of Florida. We're working on a series for some folks over in Atlanta, and just enjoying the process of letting people know that Limitless Living touches everything that we do. So keep an eye out for us. Right now, we're calling that Limitless Living on the Go. Well, actually, the Limitless Living lecture series is what we're calling it. But Limitless Living on the Go is another series that I'm working on, and I've been taping those. And this is where we talk about, well, what does limitless living look like on a regular, like when you're in one of the example, and I'll tell you this one. When I was going to New York several weeks ago, right, and the weather was bad, and I'm standing in the airport, and they announce, okay, plane was diverted from here to Birmingham because it was so bad that the plane was coming in to land, couldn't land, and they actually diverted the plane to Birmingham. Now there was all these people who are trying to get to different places. This is a Friday evening, right? All these people are trying to get to different places. And I get in line and I see the people one after another get up to the front, and the flight, the people who are up front who are now trying to reschedule are not having a good time because people are mad. You know, one guy was trying to get to a wedding. One guy had a business meeting he was trying to get to. I was actually trying to get to a function in New York that was going to take place about 12:30. And they're now telling me that I can't get to New York until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to miss the whole thing, right? I'm missing what I'm going there for. And so one after another, people are coming up and they're just irate and they're mad and they're fussing at the people. And I was mad, and I got up there, and so the lady who was helping me, by the time I got there, she was annoyed, right? So I could tell she's physically frustrated, and she's really not in the mood for anything. So I get up, and so she says, "Where are you going?" And so I tell her. And she checks the computer, and she says, "Okay, you know, I can get you to, I think it was Charlotte. I can get you to Charlotte tonight, but your flight from Charlotte won't leave until a certain time, so you won't get to New York until." I said, "Well, if I'm in New York, I'm fine. I'm going to miss the function, but at least I can be in the after part." And so she got the boarding pass, and she hit print. And as soon as she hit print and she's starting to hand it to me, they put up on the board that the flight to Charlotte now is going to be delayed. And so she's so the lady next to her, she's fussing because this guy next to me is just going at her. And I thought to myself, what does limitless living look like here, right? Because I'm mad. She's upset. Everybody in the airport is upset. And so I leaned over. So she finished, got my stuff, and I was walking away because I said I'm just going to be quiet. And so as I was walking away, I leaned over and I said to both of them, I said, "Ladies, if nobody tells you this tonight, you guys are doing a great job. You're not in charge of the weather." And I walked away. And as I was walking away, the lady finished up and she kind of came over. And she said, "Thank you for saying that." Now, no big fuss, no big muss, right? She didn't like run over and hug me or anything. But in that moment, I could have chosen to act in a different way. And that's the idea behind the COPE model. Clarify, observe, pause, and execute. So choose a different thing to do than you would normally do. So the question is, in our everyday, on a regular, on Monday morning, we sit here and we talk. Right? We're walking through this process. We're going through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. And that's great. But on your job, in your house, when your spouse, when your kids, when your boss gets you upset, what does that look like in that moment? Limitless living on the go, right? What does it look like on a regular? So we're working on that right now. So pay attention. You'll see some of those coming out. Of course, I just gave away the first one, but you get to see it. All right. Anyway, well, thank you for being with us. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. We're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans, and we're breaking through those boundaries. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the rest of the week as we move through the space. For our community members, we'll see that link in just a minute, and we'll talk to you after the show. Good night, everybody.